Hi everyone, it's Miss Branch, the art teacher, and I am here today to draw with you. And today we are going to draw some swans in a lake with some little baby swans, and we'll do a background. We'll add a sun and some clouds. We'll do a foreground and add in some grass, and we'll do a middle ground where we're going to draw our swans. All right, so let me go ahead and pin my desk camera. Let's see. Sorry about that. Pin. There we go. So now I have my drawing, which I'm going to put up here on my keyboard so we can have a reference. And one of the important things about our drawing today is that we're going to use the number 2 to start with. So when you're drawing your swan, you're going to we'll start with the swan in the middle of your paper and bring the camera a little closer. There we go. And we're just going to start a number 2. Now, when we get to this part of the number 2, I need you to change the bottom. We're going to make it curve like the swan's back. So we're going to make the bottom of this 2 curve up and down. So just make that 2 curve. So we have the top part of the number 2 and then the bottom part curves. So now that you have drawn that, we're going to go ahead and draw the face and the neck of our swan. So let me leave that right there to make sure you guys can see it. So right here at this end, I'm going to curve back like I'm making a letter C for the head. And then I'm going to just follow the 2 down and come around like I'm making a backwards S. Now, before I go any further, what I'm going to do is now add a water line by just making a little wavy line so I know where my swan is in the water. And if it doesn't touch, you can go back and make it touch. It's up to you. Now, I'm going to come back here and work in the tail. Now, it's going to look like a number 7 and a number 3. So right here, I'm just going to come down like I turn this back part into like a little number 7. And then to make some little feathers, I'm just going to put a number 3. Like so. And then I'm just going to draw a curved line to the water line. And now I'm going to make a curved line here, back here to the back of the swan to make like the wing. So I'm just going to curve around and come back up. So now I'm going to add in some scallop lines. They're going to look like a bunch of number 3s all joined together. These are actually called scallop lines, but you can just fill them in for the feathers. And then here I could just draw some little long lines in between the where the 3s curve down and curve back up. So right here in the middle, I'm just going to go ahead and draw some lines that lead to the end of the wing for the rest of the feathers. Now let's come back up here to the head. Let's see, I'm going to just go ahead and draw a little circle for the eye. And then I'm going to add a V, but I'm going to make the V curve a bit for the beak. And put a little dot for one of the little nostrils where the swan can breathe. So there we have our first swan. So now let me make the water behind the swan a little more wavy. And let me add a couple of little babies. Now you can add as many as you want. I'll just add two, even though in my picture up here, I kind of put in a third one just to see what I could look like so I can have some overlapping, but we can worry about that a little later. But let's go ahead and put in our first little baby gosling. I mean, swan, baby swan, not a goose. All right. So the first thing I'm gonna do is do a curve like the number 2 again. But this time, I'm going to kind of make it look like a weird number 3. Or interesting looking M. And now I'm going to just curve this part around for the head and then come down to the water. As he's a baby or she's a baby and their neck is not very long yet. And then I'm just going to add in a little beak. Give it a little eye. And I think I'll do like another little 3 shape and curve it around for the wing. Kind of like a little chicken wing. And I'm going to do that again right behind it so that they're following their mom. All right, so the top part of a 2. Sorry, my hand was in the way. Let me turn my paper to make sure you guys can see that. So then a curve down like a weird looking number 3 and curve it back around for the head and curve down for the body. Give it a little V for a beak, a little eye, another 3. Yeah, see that? Let me bring it in really close. Turn my paper again. And then just close that up. So now let me bring my paper back up, my camera back up. So now I have a mother goose and a mother swan and some baby swans. And so now I'm just going to draw a little bit of water behind them, creating a middle ground. And I want to put some stuff here in the foreground. So I'm going to add some bigger waves here. Now we can just stop here if this is where you want the picture to end, but you know this is Miss Branch. We got to always add in some more. So now let's add in some tall grass by making some big triangles so they look like they're close to the shore. So down here at the bottom of my paper, and I got a stack here because this is copy paper and it, ink goes through it. So I'm just going to make some big triangles. Maybe a few little ones. I'll do some over here. More like zigzags or W's. And it's okay if the water goes through it because once you add color, you can always get rid of it. So some more M's or more W's. And I'll give the illusion that this grass is real close and they're kind of like in the middle ground. Now, let's add in another mother duck. Now, this one, I kind of tried to do something different with the eye and ended up looking angry. So I decided I'm not going to do that. I'll bring in so you can see. So it kind of looked like if mother duck was mad and the babies were like, oh, we get in trouble. But that's not what my intention was. But let me go ahead, and I just called this a duck, didn't I? It's a swan because of the long neck. I am so sorry. I am thinking about every type of bird. Maybe I should have added in a goose and then added, well, you know what? Goose do have long necks like swans. But anyway, and then I could add in a duck. Their neck is a little shorter. Couldn't add in a chicken because they don't swim in lakes and swamps. So let me go ahead and I'm going to draw it going in this direction. So now, let me see. I'm going to move my paper over, make sure I'm under the camera. And I'm going to, it's got to be a backwards 2. What shape is kind of like a backwards 2? Oh, I know. Kind of like drawing half a heart. So a backwards 2 is like drawing half a heart. And then I'm gonna do that bottom part again, a curved line or a wavy line. And this one actually should it'll look a little smaller than definitely be smaller than this one because this one is a little further away than this one. So again, I'm gonna come to the front and top and make a curved line back for the head. And then follow the neck and come down to my waterline. So now I'm going to make a backward 7 or the and then some little 3s and come down. Let me make that wavy line a little more. And then I'm going to curve back around to come for the wing. And then put my scalp lines on. And they're not touching like if I was doing a fish and use these same kind of scallop line for a fish and then a few little straight lines. And now my curving V for the beak, a little dot, and a little circle for the eye. Much better. It's not looking mean or mad right now. I'm gonna put some more waves. Oh, you know what? Maybe I could put a baby swan right here in the front, like he's not following, he's just swimming around their mom. Because sometimes you see the birds and they're all bunched up. And since I drew this one kind of bigger and smaller, but I can put a baby duck here, or I can draw part of the baby. Did I say duck again? Go swan. I keep mixing up what I'm drawing. All right, swan, 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 swan. Okay, let's see. It's gonna be kind of hard to put one here because of this one's neck, but I tell you what I could do. I could do the back part of the 3 and a little bit of the head and the beak. So it looks like it's kind of behind this one. And then I'll do another one. The backwards 2, the curve, the water, the curve for the head, and come around, the little beak, and an eye. And let's see, the little 3 curve, like a little chicken wing. That's probably what started when I called it a chicken wing. When I started thinking about different birds. All right. So now what I'm going to do is make smaller waves so they can look like they're further away. So I can add into the background. So we did foreground. Now we got middle ground. And now we have some background. So now I'm going to create a shoreline by keying a continuous line. It doesn't have to be straight. And now I'm just going to put some little W's and M's for the tall grass along the shoreline. And let me go ahead. I'm going to add a hill by just doing a little wave line, then another wavy line, another wavy line. And so now I've created some hills. I'm going to lift my camera up a little bit more so you can see this. And let me add in a small circle with some rays around it for my sun. Okay, those are my long ones. Now go back and put my short ones in between each of the long ones. There we go. And maybe some clouds with some number 3s. And 2-part curves. And I make them different sizes so it can look more like realistic clouds. And there we have our picture. And of course, what's left to do is just add some color. Now let's see, where's my crayon? I'm gonna lift up a little bit more. Let's see my water. Let me do my water bluish. A little bit in between. I like crayons because you can go fast. And depending on how much pressure you put on, whether it'll be lighter or darker. And in life, when things are far away, they are lighter. And when they're closer, they are darker. And that's called atmospheric perspective. So as I get closer to the bottom, I'm gonna press down a little harder with my crayon so that the water gets a little darker than it is up here by the shoreline, because then that's far away. So that also helps with the illusion of giving space on my paper. So the water that is closer, I'm gonna press down a little harder. And I'm gonna get lighter, lighter, lighter in my coloring as I go up the picture plane so that it can look like it's further away. But the water that's closest gets to be the what? Darkest. And let's see. And since these ones are closer, I'm gonna make these grass darker. And it's okay if I got some blue in there in the water for when I was coloring the water. Because I can just color over top of it. And since these are further away, let me get a lighter green. So they can appear further away because they're lighter. And again, when things are far away, they get lighter. And let me even get a lighter green for these hills, because they're even further away. So again, I got to make those lighter. And since my sky is further away than this water, let me make that a lighter blue. Oh, I've used this blue a lot. Let me peel some of the paper away. I have my lighter blue for my sky, and I'm gonna go try not to go over my clouds so my clouds can stay white. It's like I tried not to color in my swans so they can stay white because swans are white. But baby swans are darker, like a brown, until they change color to grow, because it helps them camouflage better in the weeds. And speaking of, I could have added some browns in the weeds, because sometimes grass gets a little brown. Oh, I missed the spot in the water. What did I do with that blue? Right here between the ducks. Oh, I called them duck swans. Ah, let's see. I can use some orange on their beaks. I'm gonna try and keep the rest of them white. And a little brown. Let's see, a different brown than the one I used for the grass. Ah, a little brown on them to help them camouflage in the grass till they get older. Helps them hide a little better. And there we have it. So everyone, we learned how to show a foreground, middle ground, and background. I didn't color my sun. And we learned how to draw swans. Remember which animal I'm drawing today. Swans using the number 2, a number 7 for the tail, a 3 on the tail, kind of like a backwards S. On this one, it goes the right way, and some 3s or scallop lines, and we have a swan. All right, so let me unpin my video. Let's see, where are we? Remove pin. And I'm going to pin back to me. So everyone, I will see you the next time in the next video. We will have videos all this month, and I will see you again back in my regular Zooms starting back in March. But I think I have one day I could do like February 16th. I have to double check my calendar with my other program. But I hope to see you guys soon. Back to live Zooms and have fun. And I'd love to see some of your pictures. All right, bye-bye. Okay, it's recording.